Okay, so apparently some outlet from New York decided to put an article in their paper that asked if the Constitution was dangerous. Now, it's not surprising that people that are in favor of communism, Marxism, socialism, or for that matter, monarchs of old would think giving freedom to people is dangerous. It's a little worse than that, though, because the argument in the article was separation of powers, checks and balances, the Electoral College, literally the things the Founding Fathers wrote in the Constitution, their framework of the operation of government. They question, is it dangerous? Now, why are they questioning it now? Because they're getting their feelings hurt that the Supreme Court is not ruling in their favor. And because the Supreme Court is doing things like protecting religious liberty and people's freedom of religious expression, or even things like overturning Roe versus Wade, because guess what? There's not a constitutional right to abortion. I've read the Constitution a few times, yet to find it talking about a protected right to abortion. However, in the founders' writings, I see a lot about the right to life, but that's not what they're referring to when the modern era says, no, fundamental rights. No, God-given inalienable rights and the government protecting them is not what you are arguing, nonetheless. With all this being said, it is yet again the move we see so often from the left, so often from people who don't get their way. They want to demonize the other side, and they demonize the other side to try to defend themselves in their position. Ultimately, what they're demonizing is the notion of checks and balances, of not letting the federal government have all the power, and the federal government not being as woke and leftist as they want. Is that dangerous? No. That's exactly the reason the Founding Fathers put those checks and balances, the reason they put a separation of powers, 3 branches of government, and even the Electoral College system in place. Just because you don't like it and you're not getting your way doesn't mean the Constitution is dangerous. In fact, the Constitution guarantees freedom for the individual. And the only time freedom is dangerous is if you remove a moral structure that offers constraint, and if you have a corrupt government that doesn't uphold law justly, giving blind and equal justice under the law, which is kind of close to where we are, but that's coming from your side, not from a Christian conservative side. With that being said, if you are someone talking about the Constitution being dangerous, just know the Constitution is not dangerous to people that believe in a limited government, that believe in God-given rights, that believe in a separation of powers and checks and balances. It's only dangerous to people who want to impose their will on the other side, and they're afraid that those checks and balances might slow them down from forcing their agenda down your throat.